Hey guys, I want to just kind of introduce a special person to you. His name is Michael Fulvio, and Reprocore. And Michael, you are a CS leader. You have actually CSMs that directly report to you. And really, what we wanted to do is we just wanted to kind of jump on a call with you and really kind of learn a little bit more about your decision to invest in Nils's training, and really you've kind of done something that a lot of people haven't done, which is really pay for it yourself out of your own pocket without having the company pay for it. But before we get into that, I'd really like to kind of understand if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your role in your organization, and then we can go from there. That would be great.
Sure. So I'm a manager of customer success here at Procore Technology. It's a construction management app. I've got a team of 5 right now, but we're looking to expand probably throughout the rest of the year. And what's great about the org here is that the CSMs are really focused in on creating that strategic partnership with our clients. We've got support, we've got account executives, we've got product consultants. So there's a lot of support here to just allow CSMs to focus in on that success plan and being a strategic partner with our clients.
Awesome. So what kind of prompted you to sign up for the Predictable Renewals Program with Glide Consulting?
Well, Nils is somebody that's been on my radar for a number of years.
Okay.
His and Glide Consulting's emails that come out, I think, are really straightforward and to the point, and very actionable compared to a lot of other blogs and ideas that I see floating around. So even before joining this program, I feel like Nils was really feeding me some great content before that.
Awesome. And if you can kind of give me an idea, like how has it been able to translate into, I know you haven't been in the program a super long time, actually very recent, but how has that sort of translated to creating better opportunity for your company, for you?
Well, I've had a direct success linked to the coaching sessions with Nils each week, where he's really held me accountable and helped me take action from week to week, so that I'm expected to deliver to hit something to him every week, and that's really helpful to me because it's not just homework; it's work that is being moved forward and moving the ball down the field every week. On top of that, the recordings that are available to me, Nils is great at just making them bite-sized.
Yeah.
Just 5, I haven't found one that was more than like 8 minutes, I think. And that's just my level of attention span that works really well for me versus here's a half-hour webinar that's full of ohs and ums and let me hear your background. Like, he's just right to the point and gives you something to take action on right away.
I think that's really important. We talk about consumability, and really the goal there was, hey, how can I teach you something in the fastest amount of time that can really give you maximum impact? And I'm glad that you've kind of experienced that. Did you have any kind of hesitations before you signed up for the program?
The price tag for sure was a little bit of a hesitation, but looking at other coaching programs that are out there, this is very reasonably priced. Getting that really FaceTime with Nils, as well as the library of his thoughts and videos, is, I think, well worth the cost.
Awesome. And you've kind of done something a lot of people haven't done, which is you paid for it yourself. Even though you work for a very successful company, I'm sure they have plenty of budget, you went ahead and decided to pay for it yourself. Tell me about that. What prompted you to do that?
I really wanted to invest in myself and my own career. While there's a great L&D program here at Procore, I didn't see anything super customer success focused, as well as how to manage a team and everything like that in customer success. So I realized I could wait for the company to come around, or I could put up a big fight for the company to come around, or I could just start learning now and use that learning to advance my career. And wherever I land in the future, I think I'll get that money back at a multiplier compared to what I paid for this program.
You think about, one thing that Nils talks a lot about is that you're the CEO of your own career, right? When I worked at Intel Corporation years ago, we had a saying, it was, you own your own employability, right? The company's paying you to provide
Mhm.
value. And, you know, if you're not providing value to the company, then you're basically not an asset. And I remember I was in the software space, and I was really kind of hitting my manager up about getting some training. And he said something to me that I'll never forget. He said, "Well, why don't you pay for it?" And I was like, "Why should I pay for it? I'm your employee." And he's like, "Well, we pay you a pretty good check to come in here and work for us. Why don't you make the investment in yourself? Because the skills that you're going to learn, yes, they're going to benefit Intel, but they're also going to benefit you more.
Mhm.
Because what if you decide to leave the company in 6 months? You take that knowledge with you. So why don't you be willing to invest in yourself?" And I remember that whole concept of you own your own employability. That has really stuck by me throughout the years. And even though I've worked for companies and I've made the investment, the thing that I noticed is because it was coming out of my pocket, I was more disciplined to do it. Right? It was, well, the company
Mhm.
paid for this, so I can kind of look at it and see, or maybe get into it sometime. But the fact that I paid for it gave me a lot more skin in the game. How do you feel about that?
Mhm.
Is that kind of how you're feeling for
Yeah,
yourself?
absolutely. I agree. I feel like I've got a responsibility to myself to make the most out of my investment. It wasn't a small investment,
Right.
and I really feel responsible to myself, which is great. Which is, as leaders, and I've seen in CS particularly, we're very service oriented. We're very anything for the team, putting the team above ourselves or before ourselves. And so for me to put myself first is a gift, really.
And what a great example you are to your CSMs that you manage. I mean, hey, you went out and made the investment for you own your own employability, and what a great example you're showing to the people that report to you. That's awesome. Um, if you could say something to someone considering the program but not 100% ready to make the commitment, what would you say to that person?
What are you waiting for to demand the best for yourself?
Okay.
Um, like the sooner you get more knowledge, the sooner you're going to be able to start to be making real meaningful changes in your career and in your job. And that's going to help you advance sooner, further, faster, you know?
And have a real impact to your organization in a very
Mhm.
positive way, in a super positive way. You know, it's so interesting because it's so easy, as you know, to kick the can down the road. You know,
Mhm.
maybe I'll get to this in 6 months, maybe I get to this in a year, but the reality is a lot can happen in the corporate world within 2 to 3 months. You
Mhm.
could you could lose a lot of business in that time because you're not providing the right customer journey. Um, you know, I mean, when you think about a revenue perspective, I mean, literally thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, especially in the enterprise software space that you play in, can be a risk if you don't really provide that good customer journey. Uh,
Mhm.
so, I mean, you know, by not taking action, you're actually could be putting the company at risk to losing money because the company relies on you and your team to really deliver a great customer experience, to make sure that customers stick with you guys, make sure that your renewals are going to happen on a very predictable basis. I mean, what are some of the other things that you're measured on in your role as a CS leader in your company, Michael?
Um, really at the end of the day, it's just revenue retention and expansion, right? Um,
Right.
so the sooner that you can take the big challenge of improving yourself and your abilities and your way of thinking, the better, because that's always going to be there, right? This big challenge. And I think particularly in CS, we can get caught up with the smaller challenges. Oh, that's really, I know how to fix that and I can do that quickly. But there's always going to be all of those smaller challenges that aren't going to have as much of a lasting impact. So it's really just taking the courage to say, I can put these smaller challenges aside and go after this big challenge, which is going to be harder and take more time. But in the longer run, it's going to have a much bigger impact.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, hey, Michael, I know you're a very busy guy. I want to again thank you for jumping on this call today, spending some time with me today, and really just be willing to be very transparent and open up and really share your experience.